Viewer discretion is advised, as this video contains discussions of adult topics and Dr. Mario with lyrics. So. Hey, it's me, your dentist. Your teeth are looking kinda good, but you need to use more Brentalfloss. Don't you mean dental floss? No, Brentalfloss. Brent Black, aka Brentalfloss, is a lyricist, composer, and singer who's been active online since the late 2000s, usually making songs about video games or other pieces of pop culture. Most famously, he would take the tunes of popular video game soundtracks and add lyrics to them, usually comedic in nature, resulting in a devastating concoction known as The Truth About Toad. In 2014 to 2015, I was the biggest Brentalfloss head of all time. I had a good chunk of his music downloaded onto my school iPad on iTunes. Safe to say, Brentalfloss music was a big part of my childhood and tween years, and deserves a spot up there with Sonic and MLP fan content with how much it affected my brain chemistry. In fact, I think Brentalfloss got us all messed up. There's a phenomena where if you hear the Brentalfloss version of a song, you cannot listen to the original without picturing Dr. Mario talking about HPV. So be lucky if you don't know who this dude is, but by the end of this video, you will. Because today, ladies and gentlecars, we are going to be reviewing pretty much Brentalfloss's entire discography. That includes with lyrics, original songs, and some interesting other tidbits. Throughout the video, I'm going to be evaluating these more or less based on how enjoyable they are to listen to or watch. Some of them being gaming music parodies from the 2010s are obviously cringe, but some of the cringe turns back around to being funny, and there are some that are actually really good. So put on your cargo shorts and your green Triforce t-shirt, because here we go.
My Mega Buster can cut the mustard.
The very first video game with lyrics. And what a relic it is. This has the vibe of like an old viral video. I mean, yeah, because of the upload date and clear, crisp audio quality, but because it feels like something just made for fun. Like if he only made one of these, this would be just as big as like the He-Man singing video. The backstory for this, and subsequently all of these, is that while he was teaching a youth theater program and staying at, I believe, the people running its house, he was so bored that he just noodled this out one day. It has that sort of tone to it. That being said, it's very basic when compared to a lot of the later with lyrics. Just describing what Mega Man does with a few jokes here and there and some lines that, I mean, some of the later ones, some of the best later ones, I might add, do this too, but because this one just repeats the phrase Mega Man over again, it doesn't have much depth. Hey, Mega Man 3 with lyrics doesn't have depth. It sounds like the kind of thing someone would make if they were making fun of Brentalfloss. That being said, none of the lyrics are awkward, they all have some good flow to them. And that's kind of the reason why these stick in your head so much. He really gets down the spacing of the syllables with how the melody goes. This guy had his masters at this point. He was teaching musical theater. It's clear he knows what he's doing at least a little bit. A lyrical highlight here is I Can Shoot the Legs Off Jeffrey Dahmer. What was that a reference to?
Gotta get that balding ass face. I am Mega Man, I eat Mega Blend.
I mean, this one's also an essential Brentalfloss classic for the history books, but personally not one of my favorites. Like again, it displays a lot of the good qualities of video games with lyrics right out the gate. The lyrics are catchy and all, but there's nothing in it that makes me want to give it a standing ovation. Like 3, it's really going through what Mega Man does, but the part towards the end where he trails off into talking about all the other games and which ones suck sticks out the most to me. It's really commendable how Brent's able to wrap lyrics around these melodies specifically. The Mega Man tunes aren't easy listening like Mario, where you can point out a clear verse, chorus, all that. Mega Man 2 and 3 were not simple, yo. There are a lot of bits in these tunes that a song written for lyrics would never have. I have to give a plus for that creativity.
You just got boned, FTW.
This is the first one to have a bit, you know, a definitive joke that it wants to tell. That being, isn't it funny that the victory theme from Final Fantasy is so cheery, when in the game, you just killed a guy? A lot different from the 2 Mega Man ones that are just like, ah, you Mega Man. I really like it, except I can't not acknowledge how crap the singing is. Like, there are people sleeping in the next room over and he's trying not to wake them.
I don't care if you're a cute bunny, I'll kick your ass for reals.
Guys, it gets better, I swear. We're not at Ocarina of Time yet. Also, a big fan of the custom remix of the song he did for this. The accordion going crazy is a big highlight. There's even like vocal harmony.
La la la, you're dead. La 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 la, we killed you. La la la.
Damn! This is a big step up for sure.
I understand the primal need to relieve oneself, of course. And I've accepted the fact that some guys like watching girls jerk off a horse.
What is the Roommate song, dude? Listen, hear me out. I need to bring this up. It's an original song about Brent's roommate in college and how he would use his computer to look up porn and wet his whistle to it. This is also in the Brentalfloss comic, which we are going to talk about. Apparently the roommate in question is Travis McElroy of the McElroy family fortune, so do with that information what you will. For sure the dirtiest Brentalfloss tune thus far, and in this era it only gets worse. So if you didn't read the trigger warning at the beginning, you're out of luck.
Grandma says this shit is like crack. Well, it is.
I kinda love Tetris with lyrics. This has the best bit of any Brent song so far, and honestly, it's up there with one of the funniest. Funny in the way a lot of things from this era are, and how they could not be made today, and shouldn't, in fact. It starts out semi-normally, but then swerves into how Tetris is the perfect game for women, because women are stupid and can't play video games. That's what it's about. I can't make this up. In fact, I'm going light on it by describing it that way and it just keeps going. It's like a roller coaster where just when you think it's gonna slow down, you go over another drop, and then another, and then another. It escalates from women love Tetris because women don't play video games to women's brains are hardwired to like Tetris, and the funniest bridge in any of these to a skit where he sings the Tetris song to his girlfriend and it magically makes her not mad at him. A lot of the appeal is the live action Brentalfloss's mannerisms here. He is so cocky about what he's saying, like, yep, women are all dumb, and I can prove it with a video game. At that point, you can't not look at it like he's playing a character in this. Based on convention panels and other videos of him, there's no way he acts the way he does here. I think the horribleness is made even funnier when you see that Brent himself has entirely disowned it. The raw energy of his disapproval and the line, shitty sexist humor, in the description sells this entire thing. The Tetris song is so outrageous, you seriously can't get too mad at it. By far one of the most out-of-pocket Brentalfloss tunes, and it for sure haunts me anytime I hear the Tetris music. Chrono Trigger the musical, I don't really care about Chrono Trigger, and I don't really find the Les Mis reference in this one too interesting. I mean, I gotta applaud the animation here done by Parker Simmons, better known for... We'll talk about that later.
Where's Mega Wow? Where's Mega Wow? The Mega Poo just hit the fan.
I'm a little sick of Mega Man, but this one's fun. The song itself is a lot more hype than the Mega Man 3 title, or even the Dr. Wily theme. He was given a lot to work with in the melody. This little section absolutely solos. Followed up by a part that, in the original, is written more like a guitar solo.
Air on crack, metal on flash, metal on bubble, bubble on heat, heat on wood. Finally, confetti's kind of a thick man, you scratch bombs and you're good. Ducks. Yes, ducks in outer space.
The Moon theme from DuckTales on NES is one of the best bleepy bloopy old game soundtracks of all time. For the tools they had at the time, the composers made something that feels so epic, and it's for Scrooge McDuck jumping around on the moon. Brent argues these points in his lyrics, but it mainly centers on Scrooge being so rich, he doesn't need to look for treasure, let alone on the moon.
But it was used as a level 2, underscoring the life of a Mallard.
Whoa! Yeah, I need a content warning for that. A little bit of a cheap bit pointing out how video games aren't logical is way too overdone, especially if we're talking about nerd-centric online content from this time period, but that melody is doing a lot of the heavy lifting on this one. Okay, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room. When they made the recent DuckTales reboot for Disney Channel, they did include this song with their own lyrics. It's crazy to me that they got the rights to do so. It's a cool thing for fans, but I haven't really seen much of the show, and can only comment that much. Neither that or the Brentalfloss version feel like the definitive Moon theme with lyrics. The original tune is gonna be better than whatever millennial internet personalities or millennial cartoon writers do with it. It is objectively funny though, that there are two sets of lyrics to the song where one of them is a mom singing to her long-lost children, and the other is calling a classic Disney character a slur. Oh, Brent. Always was the classy individual. I don't hate the guy. Put that on big letters. I don't hate the guy.
Shaves his balls with plastic silverware.
This was a pretty rare thing, giving lyrics to an instrumental TV theme instead of a video game. I've never seen MacGyver, but through cultural osmosis, I get the idea. The melody isn't that memorable or catchy, and if this was a move to try and branch out from doing video game songs with lyrics to TV themes, it might not have been the best step. Come on, bro, the A-team's right there. Why not the A-team?
Cause it's the motherfucking legend of Zelda.
Absolute classic. He doesn't hone in on a single joke here, and it's more the type where he's describing the game, but going from the perspective of the old man at the beginning of Zelda 1. What he's saying coming from the perspective of a character makes some of the jokes work a lot more than it being an ambiguous narrator. Plus, the goofy green screen acting is amazing. No notes.
Have you met Toad? He's Princess Peach's PA. Just between us, I think he's definitely gay.
What if the overworld theme from Super Mario Bros. 2 had lyrics, and they were all about how Toad from Mario is gay and secretly in the closet? You gotta consider when this came out before you watch it. Now it feels a little reductive, but for the time, Brent was trying to have a positive message about Toad from Mario being gay. Both the description and deleted annotations on the video back this up, where Toad being gay is not meant to be a bad thing. However, it does have that quality like the Tetris song, where what it's saying is so blunt that I'm still taken aback. Just 2 minutes of gay-vestigating a Nintendo character. I can't listen to the original without thinking about this one. For sure a favorite, regardless of whether it's offensive nowadays or not. Alright, what's next? With a thumbnail like that, I mean, where do you start?
Good grief, he's naked!
Dr. Mario with lyrics is the second most popular video on the Brentalfloss channel. The premise of Dr. Mario from the hit game Dr. Mario being a quack is something out of a Dorkly cartoon, but man, is this a heavy hitter. The song on its own is so catchy, and a lot of these Mario tunes lend themselves so well to lyrics. This is like the definitive one that ruins the original for people. Like, if you hear about the Brentalfloss phenomenon, they're most likely going to be talking about this one. Also, for a 2009 Flash video, the animation is really great. Parker Simmons, who did this, went on to create a show for Cartoon Network, believe it or not, which I have not seen.
Journey toward the thicket and steal shit from woodland creatures.
This one gets by on how awesome the melody is, and how I haven't heard it in any other context besides this. Even though there's the typical Brentalfloss jokes, the tone of this one is so epic, and the instrumentation this is the only version of this song that exists for me.
Every morning, every night, I put it in my mouth. It goes in and out and in, north and south.
What is this, dude? The animation is a level above Game Dogs, the song sounds like Rent. I like this, however, as a look into Brent's theater background. Like, the music itself is very well produced. And you know what? It is a clever gag. I'm not explaining it, go watch it.
I'm not wearing pants, only boxers. So sexy, so sexy.
Quick, sum up Final Fantasy II with beer icks in a segment in this video. What do you want me to do? This was obviously written under the influence, and it's clear to see why he didn't do any more of these. I won't say it's nothing, because I do like some of the phrases he uses, but it's, you know, there's not much substance other than that.
But every time I think I found you, baby girl, you're in someone else's castle. Why you do this to me, baby?
I'm gonna be so real with you guys, this one was also quite boring. I go to Brentalfloss at least for upbeat tunes, not saying they all have to be funny or what have you, but, you know, truly, what have you? It's a sweet love song from Mario to Peach, but who cares? Women are stupid, bro. They play Tetris, remember?
Lickety-lick on my scrot, la 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 la. Lickety-lick on my scrot.
An interesting perspective from this one. Instead of singing from the POV of a character or a narrator in the world of the game, it's more giving his thoughts on it through lyrics. Another category some of his videos can be slotted into. The lyrics don't leave a big impression on me because the Mario 2 ending theme isn't a well-known song. Nobody knows that one, nobody knows how it goes, nobody's getting the Brentalfloss version of it stuck in their head. I mean, I have, because I've been listening to this for weeks and weeks and weeks, but not normie.
And I would eat chicken salad right out of your braces, right out of your braces, yeah!
By 2010, Brent had gained enough of a following to produce his own album, thankfully redoing a lot of the songs off his YouTube with new instrumentals and proper singing, even some new songs on the album. If you want to start with the old Brentalfloss stuff, you have to listen to the album. It's so much cleaner, the singing is actually good on things like Mega Man 3 and the Final Fantasy Victory theme. Plus, there are bits in some songs that don't even show up in the videos. I can't hear Dr. Mario with lyrics without the little characters booing him in that one bit. There's even some really fun standalone instrumental pieces, and as for the original songs, they're quite curious, I won't lie. One is called Corey, about this girl who worked for Screw Attack, which Brent was also associated with at the time. I don't know if they were a thing or this was a funny troll. Listening to this knowing Brentalfloss as a theater kid, it makes so much sense. The vibe is there. Good example is a rap song about his other friend Travis, not Travis McElroy. Some other guy I think, maybe on Screw Attack. Even if you don't know the context, it's a quote gangsta rap song about a nice guy who does good for the community. Others include Paperboy with lyrics, Bubble Man from Mega Man 2 with lyrics, very basic observations in all these songs. I feel like if these weren't good enough to be videos, I don't have to talk too much about them. This would be a good time to mention the secret Brentalfloss tune, Crash Man with lyrics. If you look at convention panels, like I have, you can find a few iterations of it where he performs it live. It was never released because it was about the character Crash Man being a drunk driver. I'm not kidding. I feel like today's Brentalfloss would have disowned it, and to this day, he's probably glad that it never happened. Even back then, he said it was too harsh of a topic to make a funny video game parody out of, but it is a fun tidbit if you're a completionist like me. Beard mode, activate! Another thing to bring up is the G-rated counterpart to the album. This is the version I had and listened to when I was young. All the songs are kids bopified, and I won't go out and say any of them are better or worse. I do personally like the G-rated version of Corey, just because of that one small change near the end, but if you want to listen to the G-rated tracks, you're out of luck. You can't get it on Spotify, and the YouTube upload is pretty much buried with the official playlist for the album not even working for me.
We got a bird with small but smart legs. Kinda funny how she coughs and farts eggs. Both of her holes have eggs coming out. That can't be healthy.
This one slaps. I applaud how he was able to put lyrics together for how fast this song is. Obviously, he had to speed up the vocals, but don't take away his achievements. I love how high energy this song is throughout. It cannot compete with SpongeBob Patrick, I'll tell you what. Lyrics are from the perspective of Brent and his friend and are like, yeah, Mario 3 is awesome. And it is, it's a good game.
Mike was tough. Oh man, that guy could knock your lunch out. Then he went to jail.
The rap verses as Mike Tyson are elite.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mike Tyson. Yeah, boy. Lend me your ears. 6'7".
But in terms of memorable lyrics or phrases, I'm really drawing a blank. This one has some of those classic Brent off-color jokes like,
I got more punch than Rihanna's face.
And a verse referencing a certain meme featuring a certain word. He doesn't say it, but it is to be noted. I think the edge in this one isn't as forgivable because there's not much of an ironic way to spin it. Like the Tetris song you can look at and say it's a bit, but this is very much genuine.
Harder than Mel Gibson hits Oksana Grigorieva.
Harder than Mel Gibson hits what, dude? What? What, dude? Alright, you can see where I personally draw the line. Back to back, too. But listen to the album version.
Harder than Jimmy Buffett is for margaritas.
Hell yeah. On to other parts of the song. Stroke of genius lining that one little refrainy bit up with the Konami code. That's really the highlight. Nothing else really sticks out about this one. Lyrics are simply describing the game and making funny observations. As you do.
Build the Taj Mahal right in Cleveland.
The vibe of this one is so different from the others and definitely makes it stick out for me. I've never played Civ, I get the basic idea. Not gonna say he mines every single bit you could do with the game's concept, but there are neat ideas like Jewish Nazis and whatnot. Musically, the lyrics get overshadowed by other aspects of the song, but the melody is infectious enough to keep the words in my head. Especially the way Brent says civilization.
There's a game called Civilization.
The little accent he puts on might need a content warning to some people, so maybe change that.
How'd you even learn to walk, your wrinkly little poodle cock?
Brentalfloss insults you for 3 minutes straight ASMR. Yes, this is another case where the song itself is so mean-spirited, you can't help but laugh. And it's on purpose this time. I like that there's a specific bit he goes for. Historically, all the Mega Man songs have been more general, but this one takes that cheery melody from the Game Over screen and juxtaposes it with some nasty lyrics.
Say your prayers, because once he wolfs you down, he becomes you by stealing your soul. Then he'll go do your girlfriend.
What if Kirby was evil. I just thought of that right now. That's a new idea I came up with. I think we're in the trenches with these because the last few ones I've talked about haven't been great, jump out of my seat, bounce up and down, certified classics. This was the only Kirby song that Brent did, and I applaud him for branching out, but like, come on, it's evil Kirby. I don't know what you want me to say. Viewer.
Dracula, I am Bacula to lay the smacula.
Dracula, I am Bacula to lay the smacula is so stupidly funny, no way you slice it. And the part that always stuck out to me was,
When I find your face, I'm gonna spin this back and snip and snap.
amazing way to make this obtuse video game melody into something with an actual lyrical flow. Kinda feels going through the motions-y, but some parts lead me to mark it down as a certified classic.
Who's this noble demigod? It's a me. It's a me.
Very silly original song based on who else but Mario. I love the vibes in this recording. This clearly very tiny venue with all these people guffawing when he says certain lines reminds me a lot of those character welcome skits. Song itself is fun. Melody hinges on that one line, "It's a me," and the fact that this is a man walking out on stage in a Mario costume from Party City.
Sure, this title's clunky and funky, but look, a monkey.
I love the ones that blend different songs from a game. Here it's the overworld and temple theme from Zelda 2. Really good game, by the way. I wish there were more like it. And yes, commenter, I play the Adventure Time game on DS. Happy to see our classic old man character return again. Because of its length, it feels like a whole cinematic odyssey. I love the contrast between the two songs. It's a worthy sequel to the Zelda 1 one.
Katie, Tom, and even Obama has a me on his Wii. Wait, no.
This is what you, yes, you look like trying to act normal while faded. This one's so short. You get like one run through of the Me song and then you're out. I think this is the only contemporary at the time video game he did this for, aside from Civ. The Wii is gonna be 20 years old next year. Are you prepared?
You smell like a taint, your goldfish is dead.
So, technically, this is the Super Mario World ending with lyrics. Very much an extension of the Mega Man 3 Game Over theme. It doesn't hold back like that other one either. Some subtle 2011 racism with an accompanying content warning down in that old description.
Ben.
Ayo, what? I think Brent, as someone who grew up in the era of crappy game endings, is very well within his right to make a song about how much they suck. He's clearly familiar enough with them to know the trope. By the end, I'm convinced. I'm like, yeah.
As for Slippy, will you please die in a fire? Immediately!
I personally love when people cover songs in completely different genres, so this is right up my alley. This, what I think is bluegrass take on Space Oddity, puts me in such a good mood, and it was such a good call slowing down and doing parts more like the original. Of course, the lyrics are tweaked, this here to be about the Star Fox crew all like hating each other because 2011, we gotta be mean to each other.
My balls are blue and purple and orange too.
What was the idea behind this? Why? STD's Gotta Catch 'Em All is a funny concept, and yes, nowadays you'd say STI. I still stand by that concept not being horrible, don't get me wrong, but it kind of wears off because that's all there is to it, unlike, you know, certain others that completely spiral out of control. I think there is some escalation, but the general idea still never changes. In a perfect world, the lyric "poked your mom" could lead to a whole other slew of ideas regarding changed family dynamics. Overall, I think this could absolutely kill if watched under the right circumstances by the right person, but it's not a Brentalfloss classic in the way some others are. I mean, I can't not associate it with Brent, but for some reason, he would never do this today, yet it's still up on the channel for all to see.
I wanna be where the people are. I wanna see them dancing.
Not really part of the list, more a recommendation. The Randy Newman impression ain't nothing special, but the cover is spot on to what you'd picture his take on the Little Mermaid soundtrack would be. Can we please get this like an extra 1,000 views or so?
Heavy and the medic share a legendary bromance.
Another rootin' tootin' type banjo-y tune. Absolutely love these. I'm not humming it while I'm walking down the street, but I appreciate it a whole lot. I really like how the main theme from the game blends into the song from the beginning. Overall banger. I love TF2. I have over 1,000 hours in it. If I ever disappear, just letting you folks know, it'll be when I get a computer that can play it again. That or Fortnite.
underwear. Yes, that diaper there. So do beware, cause they'll try to bite your wiener.
Jazzy as all hell. Super catchy use of the game's title. A very fun switch into the Michael Jackson parody halfway through. If you've never played Ghosts and Goblins, or rather what looks like the Genesis port, this song does a good job letting you know what it's like. I just think he had a lot of fun with the melody because on its own, it's a great song that lends itself to some catchy lyric.
You're so fucking rich, Bill Gates is your bitch whenever you're in the mood. Oh, what the fuck?
A sequel to DuckTales. The instrumental for this was a favorite of mine ever since I was a kid. That violin shows up between the verses, top tier. And the song itself is one of those jazzy tunes that lines up with a set of lyrics so well. It all feels intentionally written and fits amazingly. These he does good with, just as well as some of the ones like Castlevania or Mega Man, where the melodies are all over the place. The single rhyming couplets before In the Amazon, oh, just amazing, hidden gem. Get off Yoshi Flu, get on this right now.
Never gonna glitch you up, never gonna power down, never gonna spin around and invert you.
So, it's a Rickroll. It was the time, so I can forgive it. Like I said before, I'm not really into Chrono Trigger, or most JRPGs for that matter, so I can't give you much commentary from the angle of a fan.
In and around our home, something that's green and brown. It's poop!
Dorkly tier parody idea. Ninja Turtles live in the sewers. You know what else is in the sewers? Poo-poo. I do like how much focus he puts on the fecal angle because I have the humor of a 6-year-old. The tune he's basing it off goes hard. That Turtles in Time game had amazing music. If you watched a bunch of Gen X millennial game reviewers like I did back in the day, you know that they went crazy for the soundtrack in this game.
Like an art class where you don't feel gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
This is a top tier one. This one actually has a mostly positive take on the game it's covering. And I think because it's so wholesome, it actually is really touching to me. I'm holding space with the lyrics to the Mario Paint song by Brentalfloss. It does make this kind of out-of-the-way game seem like a bigger deal than it probably was, with lines like, "We were Mario painting all across the whole nation." But it feels like a personal love letter to a piece of software that let a baby Brentalfloss explore creativity.
The name's Garrett, I got moves like a ferret. I'ma steal your shit and I ain't gonna share it.
Thief with lyrics. No, I don't remember Thief. All I know is that he has moves like a ferret. IDK if this is even a with lyrics because it's a rap over what sounds like a pretty rad early 2000s beat, but it's no Mike Tyson, I'll tell you what.
This is the album you've been waiting for. This is the album you've been waiting for.
In 2012, Brent released his second proper album, Bits of Me, featuring redone versions of his more recent lyric videos. Might argue this doesn't have as much impact as the first album because the quality of instrumentation and vocals in the YouTube versions have gotten better from the ones that were done on the last album. That having been said, most of these are still a vast improvement. While it is less of a jump, it is still studio quality, and the bolstered instrumentations and lyrical changes make certain tracks hit a lot harder. I dig the album version of Banjo-Kazooie, Star Fox, Truth About Toad, many others. If you want the best versions of these, you're really better off with the albums. The bonus tracks really make this an all-around gem. Zelda 1 ending with lyrics, a really great original intro track, pretty much showing off how he was able to get a full band for this, and Baby Mario and Papa Yoshi, which started as a track on here, but later got its own video, which will be discussed later.
Steal the soul of an animal.
Somewhat of an obscure pick to do lyrics for, and that's what I admire about Brent. Very few of these felt like he was doing them just to do them. There was always at least some interest in the game he was talking about. He never caved and did any Sonic with lyrics or jumped on any mega current trends. I've researched enough to know he was going to do a FNAF song around the mid-2010s, but nothing ever happened with that. Anyways, Little Nemo is amazing, one of the most undersung and a contender for maybe the best thing to come out of the Brentalfloss channel. It takes this rinky-dink old song with a catchy melody and goes all in on this amazing gospel number, really making the song its own. The varying tempos and moods, it has such an impact. It's actually beautiful. And he got a small chorus behind him. The production of the video is great. Like, the cinematography is near professional quality. You know, we can ignore the green screen, but this looks great.
Won't you come on down to Rapture? Jam a needle in your arm.
The BioShock song is an original tune that tries to nail the vibe of the game's skeevy 60s Art Deco, evil underwater steampunk setting. The lyrics are still the kind of thing you'd find in a with lyrics video, summarizing what the game is in a funny way. Overall, I think it's good. I've never played BioShock, but it's one of those games I've always been curious about.
But he has super balls. Seriously, that's what they're called.
Do not come on this channel if you don't mess with Mario Land with lyrics. If we want to debate best Brentalfloss video, this is up there. So already, the Mario Land 1 Overworld song has a great melody that I think a certain theater kid could have a lot of fun with, but the inclusion of Dave Bulmer, aka Demon Tomato Dave, and his acapella vocals as the backing, there's some part of our human brains that are wired to respond to a large group of voices singing, and this just like tickles that part of my brain all over. And it's none of that beatboxy pentatonics crap. I'm talking about the good stuff, where you have these amazing 3-4-way harmonies. The debate about whether the game was good or not between the two characters is a unique angle, as opposed to Brent solo riffing about the game, or doing something like in a character of Mario or Daisy, who is a quote, two-timing whore. And what they do with the song's melody produces some really catchy rhymes. It's musically strong, the lyrics are great, 100 out of 10.
Hiding in a bathroom with no showers or commode. Slender Man, the tentacly Slender Man.
No, the Slender Man song, Slender Man, Everybody Try to Run, wasn't Brent. This is a parody of the Candyman song from Willy Wonka. Here I am saying he didn't jump on any current trends a few minutes ago, but then we have this. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I mean, it didn't set up a precedent or anything on his channel. It wasn't a huge hit, made such a small blip on the radar that I didn't even bring it up in my own Slenderman video, so.
Now that Peach is locked away, I can have a holiday.
So this isn't really a Brentalfloss tune, this was written at a convention panel, with guests chiming in to contribute lyrics. So in total, there's very little work by Brent himself. There was also another one of these for Snake Man from Mega Man 3, but that one's so awful, I'm not even gonna put it as its own entry. This one I think deserves it because I personally listened to it a lot as a kid. Because it's written by fans, the lyrics aren't as strong, but you can't go wrong with the Bob-omb Battlefield theme. I think if Prime Brentalfloss, which is this era right here, did his own lyrics with a sort of medley of the songs from Mario 64, that would have been the best. File select, Bob-omb Battlefield, slide theme, Dire Dire Docks, the Bowser Battle theme. I'm saying it's great material, folks.
Here we are, three mages on a quest. Of course there's a fourth, but as you might have guessed, he doesn't understand what it is to be a mage.
Banger, banger, banger. I didn't click on this as a kid because the title combined with the thumbnail looked not too appetizing, but wow, was I wrong about what this was gonna be. Really fun, poppy song with these three little Final Fantasy characters singing about their insecurities and their character arcs and whatever. Each character gets their own melody as sort of a chorus and they combine them at the end. Awesome time. This guy really needs to write for actual musical theater. Oh wait! Also, these puppets look familiar. If I get one comment asking for an SML video, I'm gonna make it. It'll be like the one kid who acts up and the teacher punishes the whole class, though, so.
The moral of this fable is do not eat a baby.
Speaking of Mario, Baby Mario and Papa Yoshi. This is based on the story of Yoshi's Island, but takes the idea of Yoshi raising the baby Mario. And it's really sweet. The montage in the middle, reportedly inspired by Up, has a lot of these really cute, fun moments. In general, I think it can be a little ridiculous to ascribe a lot of emotional depth to happy, smiley, Yahoo corporate mascot Mario and friends, but in cases like this, they actually give it that touch that makes it resonate with a cold-hearted miser like myself. The song, Heavy Hitter, this infects my brain every time I hear the athletic theme from Yoshi's Island. It's so memorable. Certainly worth the top spot in popularity on his channel.
If you're a little sick, you'll find panties and lipstick. But do it quick.
This is a story about a cave. Instrumentation is great, the tune he picked out is really catchy. It's kind of the typical Brentalfloss fare where he's going over what you do in the cave game, but musically, it's very nice.
Art is for Rayman since nobody cares.
So this is a parody of a poem about kids dying, about video game characters. This one's kinda lame. There's not a melody aside from the chorus, which on its own is not good. I like the idea, but the execution isn't jiving with me.
Don't let it get you down, baby. It isn't worth your while. We all die someday. but forever so far away. You're gonna be okay.
I don't know what the plot of Final Fantasy IX is. I didn't even know there was one because nobody ever talks about it, but this song is undeniably a hidden gem. He really taps into some big emotions here of this character talking to what I assume is a younger person about not worrying about the future or death or whatever. It actually came close to making me tear up, and the fact it's an original tune too, not based on any of the songs from the game. This, Mario Paint, Little Nemo, it always seems to be the more positive Brentalfloss tunes that are the real hidden gems. That or the ones about looks at my list, sexism, poop, medical malpractice, homophobia.
She's like a butler, but she gets no pay. So please don't tell Peter or the ASPCA.
I mean, it's alright. The instrumental is the big highlight here, as the song on its own has a great melody. I more associate it with that other thing where they put lyrics to it, and not even from that video. There's this one medley by this dude called Freddy Getty, where he sings a bunch of Brentalfloss and Brentalfloss adjacent songs, including the Punch Out YTMND with the word, believe it or not. It's not funny.
Didn't you want a new Wii U?
More like PU.
This one could not be more relevant. As I'm writing this the summer of the $900 Switch 2, here we see a kid who wants a new game system. It's 2012, so we're talking PS4, Xbox One, Wii U. Game Boy comes up and lays down some facts, obviously inspired by Schoolhouse Rock's I'm Just a Bill. Kinda weird how nobody's ever done a parody of this song before. You know, especially to like, just an idea here, to criticize the US government or make a statement about current events or any of that. Strange, very strange. Alright, in all seriousness, do my non-American followers even get this reference? I assume not because of how specific this song is to US politics, but it has been parodied to death in movies and TV from over here, so I really don't know. Let me know in the comments, guys.
Now my thoughts flash back to every time I got sacked, every asthma attack.
Great melody on its own, really helped by some good instrumentation and a catchy set of lyrics. When I hear the 8-bit rendition of this, I honestly picture something more Beach Boys inspired, and I think that could have actually been an amazing send-up. But as it stands on its own, it's fine.
Is this the real life or 8-bit fantasy?
Guys, Luigi's Mansion is right after this one, I swear. We just gotta get through this. Hold my hand, bro. This one is really bad and cringy. Pat the NES punk is here, and I don't really care if he's a YouTuber and not a singer. That doesn't immediately disqualify him from doing a good job in the role he has, but he doesn't have the vocal range to cover Bohemian Rhapsody, and the lyrics, not good. It's about how NES games are unreasonably hard, and that's a valid critique, but it's conveyed so dramatically and not in a funny way. It's plain bad. It has this epic bacon quality to it that your average Brent outing does not.
Just sucky, 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 and clean up the white stuff.
Best rap of all time from Brent. Of course, the Luigi's Mansion theme on its own isn't long or complex enough to sustain an entire video, so most of it is filled with these rap verses sung in the voice of Egad. The flow of the rhymes is so good, guaranteed to get stuck in your head. In terms of content of the lyrics, there's no crazy concepts or jokes brought forth. Egad here is basically the same role as the old man from Zelda. It's one of the most watched, and I will not argue against that. It deserves the praise, because it's such a nice little jam. It was so nice, it spawned 2 sequels.
Collect a stamp and draw some art. Now you can make the princess fart.
This is the most milquetoast, barely anything unique to say Brentalfloss video, but nostalgia wins out. 3D Land and World were up there as my favorite Marios as a kid. Like, this was my era of Nintendo. This ruled. They even reference Miiverse. Dude, oh, what do you kids know about Miiverse? You guys had to be there. It's basically a review in song form, but that Super Bell Hill theme just slaps, and it gave me chills listening to this again when he hit some of those high notes. I can't hear the original without thinking about this. It was one of my favorites as a kid. Gotta give it that award, even though I have a more discerning eye nowadays and can see that there were others with more spice to them.
Now the light of day is breaking. Do they know my heart is aching?
So, Samus having a boyfriend was not in the games, D-.
That's my philosophy.
No. I think this one's great. It takes itself very seriously, but man, does it not feel corny at all. For one, the animation is spectacular for when it came out. I saw this for the first time recently and thought these were cutscenes from Metroid Prime or something. They're that good. And the singer doing Samus, who's not Brent, it's a lady, goes crazy. You can criticize that belty style of musical theatery vocals all you want, but parts of this really slam, like slap. It's such a good choice. And also, as somebody who admittedly has not played any of the Metroid games start to finish, it's an interesting take on the character. I appreciate this song a lot.
That's my philosophy. Go ahead. That's my philosophy. What are you waiting for? That's my philosophy. Oh wait, it's my line.
Philosophy is the third and final studio album from Brent featuring video game tunes, mostly comprised of redone songs from recent memory, with some bonuses and songs that would later get their own videos, to be posted on the Brentalfloss channel. Or rather, another channel? What? I remember this Earthbound with lyrics he did getting posted under this other music video, and for the longest time thinking it was a situation where it wasn't him, but got lumped in with his work, like Rawest Forest or one of those, or the System of a Down Zelda song, but I really love what he did with Earthbound. The beat he gives to the Onat theme turns it into a banger, and I always love the ones where he mixes in the other tunes, including the one which I'm pretty sure has a lyrical version that I have hearted on Spotify. I haven't even played any of the other games. This song is just so good. Street Pass with lyrics? Oh, what do you kids know about Street Pass? Ken's theme with lyrics is great. It's one he would always pull out at panels around the time as a work in progress. Surprised it hasn't got a proper animation or what have you. Or Brent on a green screen in a Ken costume off Amazon would be really good too. Like usual, the album versions have a lot more oomph to them than the previous YouTube releases, but that gap in quality between them did get lower and lower with each album.
Dicks, booby, dicks, booby, dicks, boobies, booby, dicks, dicks.
So I think this one doesn't even use the main theme. Brent says he just made up a counter melody and went off that. Could've fooled me. I've barely grazed playing those Phoenix Wright games. I legally bought the Trilogy collection for 3DS and almost had a finished script for a Turnabout Storm video. It's unavoidable for me, but also very avoidable. Nothing special by this point, but certain bits have stuck in my head ever since I watched this in like 2014.
So now our hero's a felon, rolling a big watermelon.
Guys, I think we might be out of the Prime era. Like I said about the Mario 3D World one, this is pretty much a review in song form. Brent does not like the game, and from what I played, I don't really like Mario Sunshine either. I guess we have that in common. I'm looking on the channel right now, and I think we're in kind of a slump with these next few entries. Like, don't get me wrong, they're all great. There's a certain standard of quality these all have, except for Nintendo Bohemian Rhapsody, Game Over Teenies, and some of the ones from 2008.
Now let's stroll through the heavens like aristocrats to the sound of white supremacists in fancy blue hats.
Very fun, jazzy little tune. Obviously a successor to the first BioShock song. Great harmonies, got that barbershop thing going on. Again, the style matches the vibe of the game from what I've seen. I'm not bumping this one a whole lot, but I appreciate it.
Welcome to the V-Shop channel.
I like that there's a central bit that he bases this one around. He's playing a character, it's all fun. None of the lyrics really stick out that much. There's not that one line that I just can't stop quoting or anything. Or if I ever hear the original, I'm not like, oh, I can't think of it without hearing Brentalfloss say this.
Strike the earth right in its butthole.
So this was the shortest length of time between game release and Brent making a with lyrics for it. Shovel Knight, a game very much inspired by Mega Man, and at the time was an absolute darling of the retro gaming scene, very much lent itself to this treatment. I do really dislike calling it nothing special, but there's not much in this one that you can't find done for a lot of others. And the melody is great, but maybe could have worked for something with less jokes. You know, it's an epic melody. I think you could do something really emotional with it. I don't know, or had like a moment or two with it. Alright, so this is the part in the video where I get really burnt out and I don't want to talk about whatever this is, so I'm gonna pull the rug out from under everyone and take a few minutes out of the with lyrics videos to talk about something that would have otherwise had no other place in this big video. Brentalfloss the comic. Brentalfloss the comic was a comic written by Brent with the help of Dan Roth and illustrated by Andrew Dobson. Andrew Dobson, for those who thankfully don't know, is a character in his own right. Brent has rubbed shoulders with so many people online in his career that meeting someone who would become as infamous as Andrew Dobson was for sure inevitable, but him illustrating the entire comic is so funny to me. So, to summarize Brentalfloss the comic and the kind of adventures detailed within, half the strips are domestic escapades with Brent and a recurring cast of characters, including his roommate, Travis McElroy, and neighbors, Cass and Jules. Travis is portrayed in the comic as this messy, bumbling, sexual degenerate. Strips with him include Travis making a very sticky mess in Brent's room, making up a get-rich-quick scheme by creating a new internet meme, Duck Butt Lollipop, which becomes a running gag, and hiring a llama to guard the room while he and Brent are away. The llama becomes a main character, if you're wondering. Cass and Jules are the love interests, I think, of Brent and Travis, respectively. Cass is a video game composer who thinks Brent's videos are lame. There's tension between the two with some kind of will they, won't they element. She's very much the strong, aggressive female character archetype. Jules is that wacky, random XD character who gets along with both Brent and Travis. Brent doesn't have any other really big traits that set him apart. He's a straight man to Travis and a lot of the pop culture characters that get thrown in for jokes, but he can also be silly too. The other half, as I'd like to call it, of the comic focuses on Brent being inserted into these different video game worlds, or maybe the video game characters will be left on their own. This is used to make funny 2012 observations about tropes and other things you might have been familiar with if you were around at the time. There is a chunk of these comics that touch on current events like the 2012 presidential election and the recently announced Michael Bay Ninja Turtles film. Of course, these two styles, the slice of life and the pop culture parodies, are not mutually exclusive. Sometimes you'll have Brent and Travis talking on the couch, Control-Alt-Delete style, and it'll turn into some parody of something, like the first minute of a Family Guy episode. I do appreciate the variety they went for with the strips. It helped me not get bored, binging every one that was still available. Another thing that kept me hooked was how out of pocket some of these can be. They straight up reference the Tetris song. How could I not keep reading this to see what else would show up? Would I recommend Brentalfloss? No, I wouldn't, but it's very fun to look at the specific era of internet geek culture. The writing has that whole smarmy, pop culture, referencey, sarcastic, nerd energy that a lot of media from this time, rightfully labeled as cringe in the modern day, has. I mean, with the Dobson art style, were you expecting any other kind of energy from this? Fun fact, as noted in this Tumblr post here, Andrew Dobson was a notorious Wii U supporter during those years, so it's very funny to see him illustrate comics calling the system a pile of garbage. If I was a kid and I found this, I would love it to bits. I would grow a horrible attachment to Brent and the gang and like recreate it with my own drawings. This was the kind of webcomic I dreamed about making in 2013, and I had no idea it existed up until about a month ago. To see this with one of the people who I associate most with that time in my life, absolutely whack. He even wrote a song for the final issue. It's no longer up on his channel, but thankfully it's been archived. A good portion of the comic itself too, actually, is no longer available. In total, there's 200 issues, with the only ones officially available being on the still maintained Brentalfloss website. Later on, it was moved to its own separate page, for which the domain is no longer in use, and has no archives on the Wayback Machine. Yes, Brentalfloss the comic is lost media.
And look at Candy, oh, she looking so fine.
She got the hairy monkey boob.
Donkey Kong Country with Lyrics was a favorite of mine, and like 3D World, I will acknowledge there's not much separating it from the other, dare I say, mid-Brentalfloss tunes. It's one of those jazz tunes that Brent does really well with. A lot of the lyrics feel very natural to the melody. Big highlight is how they sort of invent a chorus by doing a counter melody to the real tune. It's really clever, it's really great.
Limbo high, limbo low, limbo 2, limbo pro.
Aside from the first Luigi's Mansion, this is the best Halloween video. A very bold choice in terms of genre, but the contrast of the cheery melody and the horrific visuals is always welcome. Also, the game's called Limbo, come on.
So when their girlfriend friends are abducted by a penis in a cloak.
I only now realize how many of these games I actually got as a kid to play on my crappy SNES, NES hybrid thing because of these songs. Many strengths to Bubble Bobble. Really fun how it speeds up with the singer getting more and more addicted to the game. They adapt the main melody into a kind of like bluegrass song, which is really fitting. This time he puts on the accent and everything. I love this little bit for the chorus with Brent talking to himself. I don't vibe with it a ton, like I'm not the biggest Bubble Bobble main theme trooper, but it's got a lot to like.
This winter's gonna be long, yeah. This winter's gonna be long.
This one is so awesome. The instrumentation and lyrics really paint a great picture of this lonely kid in this town. The bit where he's dreaming and you think the music is gonna swell up, then it cuts back to reality and it's all soft again and it's just the piano. Really, really great touch. I want to remind you, this is a professional doing these.
I'm so bored. Time to sheath the sword.
Dude. If you liked Mario Land 1, sit down. Ocarina of Time with Lyrics is a 9-minute medley of songs from the game featuring Dave Ballmer, and it goes hard. And where to start? I mean, for one, the acapella vocals are so well done, especially considering how much variation there is. It's 8 songs in total they mash up, and they escalate so perfectly from Zelda's Lullaby in the beginning to Hyrule Field for them meeting, and then perfectly sticking that landing into the transition into the shop theme, and then into the Lost Woods theme, not missing a beat, then escalating into Gerudo Valley. But then it becomes its own thing with the standoff between Dave and Brent in real life. The harmonies here are insane. It is the most grand Brentalfloss song. We've gone from recording I Am Mega Man in a closet to this, which musically sounds like big gold bars in a burlap sack with a $sign on it. Okay, I didn't write this sober, but it's amazing. It's a journey. For the actual lyrics, the focus on internet fandom culture is, you know, neither here nor there. But now that I'm writing this, it comes off kind of meta when a good chunk of Brent's work is criticizing these video games. And in the case of the comic, pop culture in general. If he stopped after this, it would have been fine by me. It's probably the best. Enough said.
TPR, win the game. Dolphin jump, win the game. Battle box, win the game. KRG, win the game.
Even coming off the high of Ocarina, I won't say this one is underwhelming. It has something like the escalation of that, which is a funny coincidence. Just this time around with a single performer and some drastic changes in genre. The best part for me is the end, where they take this really dramatic tune and make it all jazzy, and all around the instrumentation is a lot of fun like usual.
Wake up in the forest, I'm like, what's the dilly? Some kid just stole my magic flute and rode up on my filly.
What a relevant time to make a parody of TikTok by Kesha. 2015. It's so out of the way, I feel like this was an idea Brent thought was really good and needed to do, but then I remember this was when Majora's Mask was coming out on 3DS. I really like the chorus. I think that's the best part of this whole thing. And just to note, because of how the vocalist here says Philly, I can't hear this and not imagine like a 2013 MLP Flash animation. I need to figure out how people get those official models from the show. I need to make DJ Pone3 sing this.
Maybe you should Mike. Really? Ew, no.
Alright, we're very much past the era of Tetris or even Civilization with lyrics. I doubt we're gonna see any of that edge return.
Mustache, Euro, Anglo male. Greedy big nose guy is bent on betrayal. Wait, Hitler's Mein Kampf told the very same tale.
What the fuck?
In all seriousness, as a young boy, I waited. I was actually hoping he would do Mario Land 2, because I love that game. Instrumentation, you can't go wrong. Mixing up the tunes, going into the bonus stage melody for a bit. This one feels so classic. Reminds me a lot of the Mario 3 one. Cameo by Dave at the end was cute. If most Brentalfloss scholars don't consider this one anything special, that's fine, but it's a personal favorite.
Gotta grind, gotta grind, gotta grind it. Lot of stuff, gotta find it.
This one also, it's very classic, but reminds me too much of both the Zelda one and Link to the Past. That said, parts of this really slap. The bit where he's doing 3 characters at once harmonizing is a highlight. Some of those high notes and just the melody is really great. Descendant and Defend It is such a neat rhyme.
These are all things that we let fucking babies do.
You can't get It's also the closest to making me actually laugh, completely embracing the main idea that Mario Kart is this horribly dangerous activity where countless infants have lost their lives. Up there as one of the catchiest, it's absolutely infectious and has stained the original forever. 8 out of 10.
I need someone who sucks.
And you suck the best.
Okay.
A worthy sequel to the first Luigi's Mansion, faster than the first two, and not a positive or negative thing, but the instrumental for this sounds like the creepypasta song, Brentalfloss Purgatory Theory.
Giant penis, or a rose-colored giant penis, or a golden giant penis.
Alright, clearly taking the piss, this one starts out all whimsical, almost predicting the Jack Black delivery in the movie, then hard cut to a bunch of you-know-what, and a giraffe.
Or a giraffe. Minecraft.
It's such a stupid bit, but I love it. Moving forward, I assume Brent found other work, or the YouTube thing became less and less of a priority, because from the mid-2010s onwards, uploads are going to be very sparse, maybe around 1 or 2 per year. We're out of the prime era of with lyrics for sure. I also need to note this was a little late, uploaded in 2016, and if you liked Minecraft from around 2015 to 2018 or 19, a lot of folks in those times were staunchly anti-Minecraft, so I support Brent for standing strong.
Talk about yourself, talk about yourself, and stalk your crush and comment gush, but then back to yourself.
Miitomo was such a weird time. Don't get me wrong, I had it, but there was a very short time that this was relevant. The voice filter he puts on actually makes this one sound like They Might Be Giants, specifically something from Join Us or like the 2010s era in general. Miitomo with lyrics is fine, but I think it gets brought down by what game it's from. Tomodachi Life though, that would have banged.
Another day of looking cool in my cape and generally being great and wearing no pants.
Undertale! Finding out Brentalfloss was doing stuff for YouTube at the same time Undertale was big is like hearing about how Mongols fought both Crusaders and Samurai, or that they had mammoths in ancient Egypt. Undertale fan music, and specifically Undertale songs with lyrics, was such a big thing in its own right that when you have this pre-established person going into it, who was his own thing for so many years, versus, you know, these nerdcore people. Frankly, I'm not ready for Undertale. I feel like this song has too much competition in terms of other Undertale lyric videos. I will say, the video for this song too might bring it down. I don't really mind the quality of the animation, but I feel like there could have been more going on. Most of it is the two characters standing around. I feel like Brent wanted this to be a series, but it never panned out. You can imagine there'd be like Megalovania, the Undyne theme, Death by Glamour. Unfortunately, he got beaten to the punch by the other 12 million Undertales with lyrics.
My quest was epic and long, as is my shalom.
I really like what he does with this one. May not be up there as best for a lot of people, but it's super solid, and I think on par with some of the older stuff. Maybe solely because I really like the line, I'm the Link who's the Link to the past. There's a lot of mileage they get out of Link being a pompous douchebag, and it works so well for the fanfare-y melody of the song. For some reason, I think it has the same problem as the Papyrus animation, where they're all standing around, getting every last cent out of their money's worth for that face rig on Link. In this specific instance, it's not that bad. Like, you know, animation is hard, speaking from personal experience. Anything that, like, moves is a miracle. And I don't really think there's anything else they could have done visually that would have been too creative if they were doing rigs. And obviously it is YouTube animation. It's gonna be rigged, or at least kind of semi-rigged, and they're not gonna be doing crazy angles or any of that.
And then there's Chunky. He's dead.
This one is really weird. It's very much like one of those sentence mixed versions of the DK rap that like Siva Gunner did, and some of the lines and general concepts have this kind of absurdity you'd associate more with that. Tiny Kong killing bees, damn, okay. I will admit this one is iconic. Chunky being dead really took off. I imagine some of you folks are surprised that he made this. I like it, though it's the DK rap. There's nothing really inventive you can do with it musically. This is probably one of the last ones on the channel that got views into the millions. I'm not saying that as a statement on the quality of the ones we have left. It's definitely good to think about. because at this point, video games with lyrics was very much a side project for Brent. Not only did he have a Jackbox-style party game he was launching at this point, but an off-Broadway musical in the work. What if I just ended the video here? No, you can't end the video here. We need to hear your thoughts on Wario's Goldmine with lyrics. You know what? To spare you 5 minutes of me saying, this one's not that memorable, and it's good I guess, but with lyrics was clearly a side thing at this point, we're gonna cut to the conclusion. Alright, take it away, future me. Brentalfloss was good at what he did, and still is. At present, he has other avenues for creativity, including Use Your Words, which I will plug in the description, and his own off-Broadway Star Trek parody, which has an official album too. Yes, I know the Star Trek thing is another parody like the video game stuff, but you know what? It's an actual full show. He had a degree of talent that got him somewhere. He was in circles with people whose stories ended far worse. Andrew Dobson, Doug Walker, debatably, Screw Attack, Stuttering Craig and Brent ended up on opposite ends of the political spectrum, which, you know, is always how these things turn out. I might have been harsh-ish or sounded dismissive with a few of my reviews, but overall, I do have massive respect for Brent and what he does, and still continues to do. My interest in video game music as a kid is sort of why I really got into music when I was younger. I mean, now it's sort of on and off, but I'd like to think his work contributed to that. I like some of these recent videos he did where he talks about how to write good lyrics. There's a playlist on his channel that I'd encourage you to check out. And Brent, if you're watching this, please make more of them. These could be a thing. Stream Con, the parody Trektacular on Spotify, audience. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. Shunks has left the building.